Lesson 5 focuses on equation of a line in point-slope form. So in the last lesson, we talked about equation of a line in slope-intercept form, and for that, that's your y equals mx plus b, and m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. For this equation, you can see below is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So here's your equation of a line in what we call point slope form. And the reason why it's called point slope form is because in order to write the equation, you have to know the slope, and then you have to know a point. So the point is going to be this x1 comma y1. The subscripts with the ones don't really matter. It's just saying that it's some coordinate that you're going to plug into this equation. So let's look at an example for this. So for example 1, find the equation of a line with slope -2 that contains the point -4, 3. Write the answer in slope-intercept form. So our final answer has to be simplified into y equals mx plus b. That's what that means. But the quick way to do this problem is to use the point-slope form because they give us a slope and they give us a point that it has to pass through. So using the formula from above, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, you can plug in, this is like your x1, y1, and this is your m. So we just plug those things in. So I have y minus x1, which, or y minus y1, which is positive 3, equals -2, and then x minus x1, which is -4. Notice that I'm keeping both minus signs, or both negatives. So the minus and then the -4. So it's really going to become x plus 4. So let's go ahead and rewrite that. So it's going to be y minus 3 equals -2 times x plus 4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get this into y equals mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form. Otherwise, if it didn't specify, this equation that I have right here could be an answer. That's the equation of a line that has a slope of -2 that passes through the point -4, 3. But because of the problem, the way it's specified, we have to simplify. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute that -2. So it's going to be y minus 3 equals -2x minus 8. And then I'm going to add the 3 to both sides. So I have y equals, so those are gone, -2x minus 5. So that would be my final answer in slope-intercept form. Let's look at another example. This example here says we want to find the equation of a line that passes through the points -3, 3 and 3, -1. So I know that I'm going to be able to use that point slope formula because I'm given a point. But in order to use point slope formula, so point slope formula is the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. In order to be able to find the equation of the line, I'm going to have to figure out the slope and one point. So before I can do anything, I have to figure out what the slope is. Because I already know I have these 2 points. I have like an x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to have to use those 2 points to figure out the slope. And remember, you could graph these and count rise over run, but I'm just going to go ahead and use the slope formula to review that with you. So slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You might see a similarity between these 2 formulas, and you should, because basically one formula comes from the other. So if you look, if I were to imagine multiplying both sides by this x2 minus x1 here, you would end up with this formula over here. You'd have y2 minus y1, or y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, which is really the same thing as the x2 minus x1. It doesn't really matter the little subscripts. Those are just representing different values. So they really go hand in hand. So this point slope formula really comes from slope. So let's go ahead and find the slope. So I'm going to substitute my y2, so -1 minus y1. And then it's going to be x2, which is 3, minus negative 3. And then you just go ahead and simplify. So on top we'll have negative 4. On the bottom we have 6. And when we simplify this further, divide the top and the bottom by 2. We'll have negative 2 over 3. So my slope is negative 2/3. So now I'm going to take that slope and I'm going to plug it in over here. So this is going to get plugged back in over here. So I have y minus, and remember, we can use either point now. So we have to be given 2 points so that we can figure out the slope, but then once you know the slope, you can choose either one of these original points to be your point that the line passes through, because really it's going to pass through both of them since you use them for the slope. So I'm just going to use the first one just because it has x1 and y1 labeled, not that it matters. So I'm going to plug in 3 for my y1. My slope was negative 2/3, so I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And then I have x minus x1. x1, remember, was negative 3. So I made sure that I kept that negative. Now you can skip that step, like plugging in the negative, like the minus negative 3. You could just write x plus 3 if you want. But I just wanted to show you the substitution. So you could have just went from the equation to x plus 3. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solve this to get it into y equals mx plus b form. It doesn't ask for it, but I'm going to just show you how to simplify it. So we have negative 2/3 x. And then when I distribute the negative 2/3 with the 3's will cancel. So I'm going to just have a minus 2 at the end. And then we're going to add 3 to both sides. And then our final answer will be y equals negative 2/3 x, and then it'll just be a plus 1. And that'll be it. Okay, so that's it for point slope. It's just another way to write an equation of a line. It really just depends on what's given to you. So there's just different options. And I think point slope is going to be useful whenever you're given a point and a slope, which will be useful in the next lesson. So we'll take a look at it then again.